What's up, Cochran here on the mule deer hunt. Just drove in to Colorado. This is a way fun hunt. I've shot 4 bucks, like 3-year-olds, within a mile, a few hundred yards each other, maybe a few of them. I only got 2.5 days, so I'm gonna get up to this glassing point and usually see tons of does and forkhorns around. So try to find me a buck. It's like 2 o'clock here and sunset's at 5:55, so I was just changing clothes. Show off my new footwear. These, what I've been wearing the last couple years. And they were waterproof at one point, but you can see all the way through them now. They got giant holes in them. I got these Nikes. I don't guess they make these anymore. And they have water drain ports in them, so I was thinking it might be better because those other ones weren't waterproof very long. Run the waterproof socks over regular socks. Only thing is they fit really tight. I finally found a pair of 10.5s, and they're like used on eBay, so you can't return them. I'm gonna try them out. So I made it up on top of the highest peak around there. I usually glass on the one closer to the road, but I finally made it up to the tall one. Seen this little 3x3. I thought it kind of had a whitetail looking rack. It'd been a cool deer. I didn't see near as many deer as the past time I was here, but still seen quite a few deer looking all around. This is the biggest buck I seen that evening. And then when it started getting dark, I headed back to the truck. Next morning, I was up there before the sun come up and glassing. I found these elk right off. I hardly ever seen the elk in this area, so that was pretty cool. A little spike bull in the back following these cows. And again, there's not as many deer as I've seen in the past, but still seen some deer. There's always a lot of hunters in this area too, so you got to find one before somebody else finds it. I've seen them shoot deer I was glassing, and then I see a hunter stalk up on it in the past. I've seen a group of 4 bucks and had this big forkhorn, probably 3-year-old. He's the biggest one in there, and they had a smaller 4x4 in the group. A couple hours later, I spot a hunter down there on a hill looking where the little group of bucks was. The only buck I see now is the big forkhorn, and it looks like he's sneaking up on it, and it's looking back at him. I think he was busted. I didn't see the other 3 that were with him, though. And then a couple hours after this, I hear a shot, and I spin around, and he has a big bipod deployed on his rifle and has his backpack off, and he's packing up. And then he just walks over the hill. I don't know if he missed or if he's just taking a practice shot or what. And a little later in the day, it's weird how the deer just disappear on you, but I find a group of 3 bucks that have a little 4x4 in it that I might possibly shoot, kind of the same kind of deer I shoot here all the time. So I kept watching them, and seeing no other bucks, I was thinking I might make a play for them. I've seen quite a few deer, quite a few little bucks, but there's probably 3-year-old 4x4 like I normally shoot down here with 2 other bucks. It's about noon now. Way up in there, there's like a dozen deer this morning. There's 1 buck in there I could tell, but it's too far away to tell how big it was. I think I'll make over this way. Those 3 bucks with the one I'd possibly shoot kind of went over a little hump down here in the bottom, so I'm gonna go this way some, so I can see back in there, and then also see look at them other group of deer that's way back in there. I was way up on that peak over here last night. There's some cool looking country behind it, but I didn't see anything there. Seen everything on this side. It was hard getting down there. I went the wrong way. It was really steep in the dark. But I'll probably stay out here till dark. Probably end up shooting that one down here if I can sneak up on him. In the open, he's kind of hard to make a play on. I'm about to go to the left because the wind's coming from the right. He's right where I last seen him too, and there's 3 bucks there. So I don't know if they're just laying behind a log and then they stand up, because I haven't seen the other 2, just seen him. I peeked over this little ridge right here and I seen him, and I ranged at 502. I can definitely get down this way a little bit further too. The only one I can see right now is this little forkhorn. There's 3 of them together though, but they're sitting on that little rise with the wind at their back. looking this way. If you can't come another way, they'll smell you. If you come this way, they'll see you. I'm at 448 yards right now. I think I'm just gonna try to move easy and stay low. Before I blow this stalk, I look up and there's two hunters on the peak behind me where I come from. They got to watch. Yeah, right here it's probably 260. Kind of have to go over a little rise, drop my bag, binoculars. Made another like 30 yards. I'll sneak up, try to get the shot. When I got set up, I kept looking forever. I couldn't find them. Two of them were just in the open. They took off trotting. That's when I seen them. Should have kept my binoculars. Should have looked longer. Went a little ways and turned around, and I was on it at 220. I thought I could shoot that right there, and then I had to rack around in there. When I got it back in, one of them was standing in front of it, and then they kind of snuck around, lined up. They weren't real scared, so I took off running over the hill, see if I see them on the other side. Get to the top of the next rise, and then there's a bunch more deer on the other hill. I think they were in it, but they trotted over the next one. So I figured I'd stop chasing him. It's 2 o'clock, and then glass this way, because he wasn't a giant anyway. I come around over the mountain, meet the trail up over here, goes back to the truck. Horse riding trail. This little valley looks pretty cool. I hadn't seen this. There's a little cabin over there. Old cabin. Dad could have come in here and we could have camped right here on the horses. Pretty fancy. I went over this peak. I come around from the other side. Next morning, last day, I'm back up on the mountain glassing before the sun comes up.
Waiting for a little more light.
Found another cow elk the next morning, which is pretty crazy. And now it's Sunday, the last day of the season. I blew the stalk the day before, just going in too fast. And after they were spooked, I had that one in my scope, but I didn't have a steady rest or anything. And then they got away. This morning, I only see one decent deer, and it's not real big. I've been glassing all in here. Right up over there, there's 2 bucks. One's maybe a 3x4, maybe a 4x4. One side is hard to tell, it's way off. So I was just trying to get a good look all around. I thought I might make a play for them since it's the last day. And then I walked over to this other side and I found my buck. He's way up there. He's like good, pretty good mass made by himself. So I'm gonna go get some video to the spot. Let's go. So make a play. He was right there on that little knob. I had the tripod on it and I had him in the video. And then he all of a sudden ran over the ledge so I couldn't see him. Then I noticed that the phone wasn't recording. I thought I had him on video really good. But I just stopped here to get a drink and a snack, and then I'll make my way this way so I can see back inside there. I'm at like 750 yards now. I was gonna make my way up through here behind this mill, but right there's a 5 does mule deer. So I didn't want to spook them. Maybe they'll go to the left and I'll go inside it. Found a shed. I think I'm gonna leave it here. I've made it a long way. I can still see that peak over there, kind of keep me going the right direction. There's another peak behind this one I want to get to. Like the poor man's sheep hunt. Fixing to go over this rise. The sun's beating on me. He's laying on the shady side of the Royal Ridge. So it'll be hard to sneak up and see him without him seeing me. Should be maybe 400 yards away here.
I found him. Before he found me. Man, he's in a spot. It's gonna be hard to get to right there. I think he's just a typical 4x4, but he looks like he's got some mass.
After I found him, I opened up the pack, got something to drink, looked at the maps, tried to decide what I was going to do, and then after a while, decided the only option is to take a shot. It's at 450 yards here, which I've never shot an animal that far, but I shoot further than that at home all the time. I post up and wait for him to stand up, and then I decide just to take the shot with him bedded. Bam. Waited 14 minutes. Sunshine on him. I've never done a laying down shot before, but I had the rest, everything just dead on crosshairs for 14 minutes. First shot, spine shot him. He looked like he's hurt pretty bad. And then I was like, yeah, I better take another one. So I shot, and I think maybe I missed the second one, and then the third one right through the money zone. And then he laid over it there. Oh my goodness. That was a workout. The bullet trace through the air looks pretty cool through the spotting scope. I do think it's crazy I missed the second shot, but I was just trying to hurry, shoot again, get another one in him since he was already hit. Probably just pulled the trigger too fast. That's where he's bedded down. There in the shade. The sun started coming around on him. He didn't go 8 yards. Definitely some ground shrinkage, but he's a decent mule deer. Not a monster at all. The best one I've seen. He's just in this bowl. I was over there on that ridge. I knew that bowl would come down. I kept looking at the map. If I get to this next ridge, I've been closer. But if I went up to this one, I'd be further away. What's weird is I seen him on this little grassy spot in front of these rocks. And from where I was at over there, it looked like that was the same little spot. It's just weird how much more land there is here between them. We're right in here, you can't see him anywhere. There's like a bowl all the way around it. That's why he was in here. That's why I'd take such a far shot. There you go. I have no problems taking a lane shot. I never have. In my head, I never thought it'd be a big deal, but I waited 14 minutes for him to stand up, and then I was just laying there with the crosshairs, dry firing on him so many times. I was just locked in. It's like, I don't know if he's just gonna take up and jump around the corner or something where I can't get a shot, or then I'm have to move to get a different angle and not be as steady. The one I stalked one yesterday was probably a little bit wider than this, but it definitely wasn't this massive. Keep wanting to get a monster, but this wasn't bad for less than 48 hours. I've seen quite a few bucks. This is the biggest buck I've seen. Today's the last day of season, so I had to make it happen. Then I took some video to get me a selfie picture off of, and then got to work cutting it up. I know it's a really far shot. I don't ever plan to shoot that far. It's usually under 100 yards, but I've shot further than that on steel hundreds of times. Before I packed the rifle up to go up there, I shot it at 100 yards, and then 750 yards is 1.5 inches high. And then there's a gong at 658 yards. I hit it dead center. Then I shot it at 400 and 300, all in the middle, and then put it in the case. The wind was right on my back, but it wasn't very hard at all. And with the canyons, I wasn't really worried about him smelling me, but I didn't have to take the wind into account when I was shooting. I did have a mango Diet Pepsi in my pack, and I pulled it out and started to open it up, and I thought he might smell that, so I had to put it back until after I'd shot. I really took my time on the meat, tried to keep it really clean, no hair, grass on it. Did a pretty good job of that. Burger Hybrid Classic Hunter. Went through the behind the front shoulder, went through the other's leg, front leg, and then got stuck in the hide on the other side. Mushroomed out. This job, 450 yards. I got a loose meat, front and a rear quarter in my load cell, and then I put a front and rear quarter in a bag, trash bag, and put them inside the top of the bag. So, not too far from the road this way. It's weird, these things. It's better to walk around, try to stay the same level until I get to that saddle instead of going down and up. Let's see what happens. I dropped all my stuff back there. There's a couple vehicles and about 6 people shooting. They see me walk down with the bag, and I left it behind a log. So hopefully don't mess with my stuff. It's definitely over a mile down this road. Get back to my truck and run down this road. The running gun prepared me. And you can't tell. Well, shot him up there. truck still way down here. Got it in that big ice chest. I'm gonna put a couple bags of ice and like 5 pounds of dry ice on it. Should be good to get home. There we go. Shoes are pretty good. Many miles had these thick wool socks and then the waterproof socks on. Feels good to get these babies on now.